This is 2 weeks with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Let's go. Now, I normally like to wait for my reviews. I give it a bit of time, and then eventually I'll pump out a review after maybe 2 to 3 months of having a device in my hand and in my pocket. But I feel like with this, it's important to get the message out there early that now is the time to fold. And I say this as someone who has had every single Galaxy Fold since the original. Fold 1, Fold 2, Fold 3, Fold 4, Fold 5, Fold 6, Fold Special Edition, and now Fold 7. What I can say though is the experience isn't perfect, but I'll get to that. Let's talk about the things that have been amazing, and starting with the design. What you can barely believe is that you are actually holding a folding phone. And that is a very high compliment to be paying it. One thing that you kind of don't normally get with folding phones is that feeling of it being a normal phone, especially in the last few years. What Samsung have done here is they've brought the weight down and they've brought the thickness down and they've made it a bit wider on the cover screen. So you literally are feeling like you're holding a normal smartphone. Often I can be using it and I'll totally forget that this thing can unfold. And that's a good thing. The reason why that's a good thing is because you can just use it like a normal phone and then you can unfold it into that tablet experience. So you get the convenient smartphone usage on the front and then you get to unlock productivity on the inside. Previous folds, you've kind of always had to adjust on the cover screen, whether it be the typing experience, or whether it be the content experience, whereas you don't have to do that here. Because it's thin as well, it doesn't occupy the same amount of hand space as it used to, so it's still easy to use one-handed, but the typing experience has improved greatly because of the fact you've got that more natural 21:9 aspect ratio and a 6.5-inch screen on the front now. That natural sort of cover screen also extends itself into multitasking on the inner display because the two halves of the display are now basically the same size as a normal phone. When you're using two apps side by side, it's perfect to get the full aspect ratio of each app. What you truly don't appreciate with a Fold is that the times when you need multitasking, it truly allows it to be easier. Lots of people don't understand. They'll say, oh, I don't want my phone to do that, but it's when you actually use it that you can see that you do. Tonight was a perfect example for me. I was out and I needed to complete some registrations for some upcoming football tournament that we're in. What was great was having emails open on one side, the web browser on the other, so I could fill in details and find numbers and stuff that I could then copy and paste across. Perfect. And I had plenty of space to operate in thanks to that 8-inch screen on the inside. Watching content on this inner display, entertainment-wise, has been great too. I actually really like watching it sort of in portrait view when it's open because that top part of the screen is filled up with the content and then I can still browse like the YouTube comments or look at other videos underneath while scrolling and have the full screen at the top. It's actually the best way to use it for content. If you do rotate it into landscape, it still is good, but you don't quite get that joy of doing two things at once. Also, you've got the punch hole to deal with now because they've removed the under display camera. RIP. But there's other ways to enjoy content on here too. My favorite thing to do is just flex mode because I can just pop it down next to me. And again, because of that more natural cover screen, when it's in flex mode, it's more natural and that top half of the display. And then you've got the buttons and the controls underneath that you can activate as well that make it easy to sort of navigate your way through the content that you're watching. It's perfect when you're sitting there doing some work, put the phone next to you in flex mode and just consume media without needing any extra accessories. It's great. But overall, using this design, whether it be taking out of your pocket to get some photos, which I'll get to in a moment, or whether it just be sitting there consuming social media in one hand, it's the perfect form factor because it's now 215 grams, 8.9 millimeters thin, which means you don't feel like you're holding that folding phone at all. But then you do unfold it and you've got that 8-inch glorious inner screen to use as well. Now, I spoke of the cameras. I've got a video coming this week where I sort of look at the ultra cameras on here, but I just want to talk about my experience with it, especially as someone who for the last 6 months has been using the ultra. Boys have been good to come back to a fold, especially one like this. Firstly, having that sort of lightweight design in your pocket for like a pocket studio is fantastic because you can pull this thing out at any time and you can take photos one-handed with the cover screen closed. It's great. And with the upgraded cameras on the back here, The macro opens up opportunities for sort of content and for different types of photos. And the new 200 megapixel main camera is great if you want to do rear cam video for something like that and you want to frame yourself up. Again, it's all that extra opportunities that this form factor allows for. And now the hardware has been upgraded to match it. As far as output goes, I've taken a lot of photos and a lot of video, both at my daughter's birthday and also at like football. And it's just been great to get that extra bit of detail out of that main camera. The processing's great too, thanks to the 8 LE for Galaxy, and whatever Samsung processing they do on folds is always punched up a little bit. And the camera samples you're seeing, you now just have confidence that a foldable is going to be taking flagship quality photos. I always maintain that they have, but that 200 megapixel main camera absolutely makes a difference in heaps of different scenarios. There he is in his habitat, using his Fold 7 as his productivity device, and he's working away in the way God intended. Beautiful sight. But you're not buying a Fold for the camera output or the prowess of the output that it provides. It's the flexibility in content that allows you to create. I'm a father, 2 kids, a son and a daughter. It was recently my daughter's 4th birthday, and this kind of just arrived just in time. And what we really like to do as a family is we record our kids' birthdays, and then my wife edits together a little package video that they love to watch. What can be really difficult as a parent is you're always behind the camera, so you always have to capture the moment without you in it. Flex mode changes that because you can find a spot around the house, flat table, pop the phone down into that flex state, and then you've got a tripod camera without the tripod, and then you can go join in the moment. My daughter was opening all her presents, and again, I remembered I had the flex mode. I popped it down, and then you can see the footage that I captured. I was involved in that, and I could sort of be part of the joy as my daughter was opening up her gifts for her 4th birthday. People can say to me, just get a tripod, and that any phone can do that. It's not the same, because you won't have that tripod everywhere you go. If you go to a park or a playground, you won't bring that tripod with you, but you'll have the phone in your pocket. So you can pop that into flex mode and again, capture that moment and then also be involved in it too. I'm gonna... But even just getting the kids to sort of be still. I've mentioned this in other videos, using this cover screen as a preview for the other person who's getting the photo taken of them, again, is a lifesaver because it sort of controls them, sits them still, and you can see them looking at themselves as you capture the photo. Makes it a whole lot easier, and it's a lot of fun to do. And as a YouTuber, having this option as well, if you forget your other cameras, pop this down on the table next to the content, and with the macro camera and the bigger one-time sensor, you've got better content that you can capture. Oh, and it's got log video on here too, so you can throw that into the mix as well. Then there's the performance side of things, and the 8 LE for Galaxy has been flawless. I haven't noticed a single issue with performance, and whether it be exporting video or whether it just be interacting with the phone itself, it's been great. Battery, I'm yet to really determine the battery longevity on this thing yet. Like the S25 Edge, it sort of starts off slow, and then I think it gets better as time goes on. But I don't think it's going to be giving me any issues. I haven't yet killed it in a single day. I've always been able to get to at least 7 or 8 o'clock before I start to think about needing to charge it, and that's fine. For me, absolutely no issues there. And I've intentionally used this thing a lot and intentionally not been charging it in Android Auto and stuff throughout the day, which I normally would. So when I sort of bring that normal usage in, there's going to be absolutely zero issues whatsoever. Now, there's a certain way I like to set up my folds, and I have a video coming later this week where you can see all of the way I set up the folds. Make sure you hit subscribe for that. Now, it's not all rosy with the Fold 7. There are some things on here that I think are a little bit annoying. First is no S Pen. I understand why it's gone. The market has kind of dictated that Samsung need to go to this thinner form factor, which means the S Pen support ultimately makes way for a more durable inner display structure. But then that would have made it too thick if you chuck the S Pen one on the back of it, so it's gone. But you do feel it, especially again as an S25 Ultra user. I loved using the pen to sign documents or create my team sheets and formation for my football team I coach. I lose that ability here. A couple of really real finicky ones sort of on top of that is the fact that because it is so thin, you get a sense of anxiety if you don't open it first go, because you really need to concentrate, at least in the first initial stages, to make sure you get the two halves of the display open, because you don't have a lot of surface area to grip on. I noticed it in my Fold 6 versus Fold 7 comparison video, how much easier the Fold 6 was to unfold because of the bigger surface area that it's got. So you just have to be mindful of it with the Fold 7. Some of the trade-off you have to get of getting this thinner design, especially when closed. And then launching the camera. Double pressing the power button isn't as easy as it used to be. Again, less surface area. So you might take a couple of goes, or you have to get muscle memory to get used to it, because normally your hand rests sort of around here and the camera button, the power button is here. So you make sure you need to move it to the right spot, again, because it's thinner. And the cameras, as upgraded as they are, stick out so much. This thing is almost unusable on a table. You'll notice in my videos, I'm trying really hard not to touch it because it just rocks incessantly. So if you're sitting there and it's next to you while you're working on a laptop and you're trying to type a message, forget it. Stop whatever you're doing on your laptop, pick up your phone, because you will need to do that to just get better access at using this thing. But they are all things that I would happily trade for to get this design and still use a Fold. The Fold 7 is, in my opinion, the best foldable on the planet right now. Certainly the thinnest, as we have now learned. So really, it sort of is the time to jump in on the foldable train. You might look at the price and get a bit put off by it, but you think about how long you're holding on to a device for. The average lifespan of a phone, or at least from a user consumer base, is about 36 months. So pretty much 3 years. And a Fold with 7 years of updates, you likely maybe want to hold on to it for longer. The durability stuff seems to have improved here, meaning you're going to get longer out of it again. So when you really break that cost down and you spread it out over the lifespan of owning something like this, is it really that much? That's ultimately for you to have to decide. But there is still time to pre-order and take advantage of the awesome deals. And if you want to do that, you can use the link in the description. Fold 7, amazing phone. And if you are going to get one, this is the place where you want to be to keep up to date with what's happening with it. So hit subscribe to Tech with Benefits. Come find me on my socials, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You.